Jamo 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 rimon giche dun da menga wa dun sai medi kuna nilo munte ayahuasca doctor sacronita doctor.
In this video, I'm going to share with you my experience of drinking ayahuasca in the Amazon jungle of Peru. I do not condone the use of any substance. This video is shared for educational purposes only. Ayahuasca is a brew made from two plants that have powerful hallucinogenic properties. It's used by indigenous cultures and folk healers for spiritual ceremonies and healing. Some people claim that ayahuasca can open your mind, heal your past trauma, and connect you with the divine. After experiencing ayahuasca initially in Mexico a few times, it inspired me to continue traveling for a few months. I ended up in Peru, where I heard the best place to try ayahuasca was in Iquitos, the gateway to the Amazon rainforest. So I'm on a flight from Lima to Iquitos, and as you can see, there are some spectacular views of the Peruvian landscape. At the airport, I'm picked up by my guide. His name is Walter. So he's going to take me to the destination in a variety of transport methods. Now we've stopped off at a market where the shaman is picking up some Amazonian tobacco. We take a taxi to the village where we would catch a boat to the Amazon River. We take another tuk-tuk to the river where I expected to see a nice and comfortable boat. But instead, we get this, a narrow and rickety canoe that looks like it could sink at any minute. Now it's pitch black on this river. Walter tells me it's going to take around 2 hours to get to our destination. And now my imagination is just running wild with what could be lurking in this murky water. I was relieved and looking forward to resting, but my guide tells me that was not the case, and we were to continue traveling to the venue where we would be staying for the duration of the retreat. So now we have to walk through this rainforest in the middle of the night to get to the other village. It was another narrow and rickety canoe that looked like it could capsize at any moment. We arrived at the base camp, which is a lodge in the middle of the water, and it's pretty. Due to the rainy season, the river has expanded, and the only way to get to and from the lodge is by boat. This would be the place where I'd spend the next 5 days and take part in free ayahuasca ceremonies. I was kind of excited, but mostly thinking I was screwed if something went wrong during the ceremony. Later that day, the shaman explained the rules and expectations. He told us that ayahuasca was a sacred and powerful medicine, and that we had to respect it and follow his guidance. He also warned us that ayahuasca could cause vomiting, diarrhea, intense visions, and that we had to be prepared for that. I was told it rains for a little bit, then it stops, but it's been going on for almost an hour now. I'm just worried that it might flood. But we are quite high up, and normally the place that we're staying in, you can access by ground. But during the rain season, we're surrounded by water right now, which is kind of nice because you can see fishes and all kinds of creatures just buzzing around. It's been very comfortable. There's a toilet here. Normally they have these retreats with a few people, but I'm lucky enough to have the place to myself. And there's a chef downstairs who's making the food, the shaman who'll be doing the ayahuasca ceremonies with me. This is the drink over here. My last few ceremonies, I started off doing 2. I think the most I did was 3 shots of it. Ayahuasca does not make you a perfect person when you come out of the first ceremony that you do. It opens a box, and there's questions that sometimes get answered, and sometimes you get good insights into what you need to do in life. In my case, I wanted to explore further, and I just really connected with the plant medicine, as they call it. It was like being Doctor Strange, like opening portals, manipulating time, using energy balls and then plugging them into the ground. And there was one point where I was like, fuck, I'm a god. I know it sounds crazy and delusions of grandeur, but at that moment I felt like I was a god. And I'm not religious, and I'm not really spiritual. I never really knew what spirituality means, but I know now, connecting to the plant spirits, there is some kind of energy, some kind of vibration in the world that connects us all. And that's what I experienced most profoundly during the whole ayahuasca experience. And I felt good. I felt really good for a short space of time. And they say that you get this glow afterwards, like a post-glow. And I definitely felt that. And I definitely felt different for a while. And then I think certain limiting beliefs started to creep back in. And there were days where I just felt, what am I doing? Like, am I happy? I guess what I'm trying to gain from these new experiences is a deeper insight into myself. And they say ayahuasca is like the equivalent of 10 years of therapy in one session. If you can surrender to the medicine, you're allowing it to do its work. So I had my first ayahuasca, one of 3 experiences that I'm going to have on this retreat. And it's actually my 6th experience now in total. Previously, it took half an hour, 40 minutes or so to kick in. But this time it was around 15, 20 minutes, I think. And then it just went poof. And then in my vision, I was seeing colors, like a green color. And it turned into this kind of like paint that was coming out of a bucket and going into like a swirl, going round and round. And then it basically changed into various things like demon faces and all these kind of potentially scary and disturbing things. And then they slowly started to sort of disappear and move away, and then people or kind of godlike figures were there, or spirits if you like. I felt very much more grounded in reality compared to other experiences where it was a lot more hypervisual, it's more surreal. I did purge quite heavily this time, and I think because I was trying not to be sick, I became sick. I'm gonna do another ceremony tomorrow, and then there's going to be one more on Friday, and hopefully it will be a little bit more enlightening this time, and maybe more kind of rooted to the direction that I want to go. But again, maybe it's me being too controlling with the situation. Maybe I need to let go a little bit more, but I think I did surrender in a way, and I didn't let the, I guess, offerings are one thing. I kept being offered drinks, and I think that's to do with I'm actively trying to give up drinking alcohol, because drinking has numerous times caused many problems for me. So I want to just give it up, and health-wise as well, it's just getting to a point where I'm getting major health anxiety the next day. And also another thing that kind of stood out was gates. Like kept on closing. I was like trying to get into places, and then every time I'd get to the gate, it would close. So it was just looking at how I might be looking at opportunities and thinking that there's a lot of barriers in the way, and not really focusing on the goal and focusing on the barrier more. This experience was a lot more intense than the other one, and maybe because it's the quantity that we used. So we used 3 ounces this time. I think the previous was like 1.5. So I was seeing spirits that were walking around the room. Now the first time when I did the ceremony, I had seen kind of god-like spirits, and they were offering me drinks and all kinds of potions and everything else, and just getting in my face. And it was a little bit frustrating, to be honest, and I think it keeps happening. Like I keep getting these spirits and they're just in my face, like prodding me and, you know, just trying to get my attention. This time the spirits were more rooted in the modern age. You see kind of like a chalk drawing. I think that's the best way to describe what I saw anyway. So in this experience, I think I connected a little bit more deeply into the realms. I'm going into the heavens, into all kinds of dimensions. I mean, in the past I've gone into like a hell-like dimension, but it hasn't really happened this time. And maybe because I'm getting over a lot of anxieties and a lot of self-doubt as well. And I was again blessed with this power. It kind of came into my hands. I could feel this energy that was seeping through my veins. I had a chance to give it back to the world or take it for myself. And this time I decided to take it. I think the message was that in order for you to find happiness, that happiness is within yourself. Give yourself the power to unlock that happiness. The first ceremony was very much rooted in past, you know, ancient civilizations, gods. The second ceremony featured spirits, human-like figures that are roaming the room when I opened my eyes. And there was many of them. Like this time it was literally, the room was full of them, and they were just walking around, and they were very much rooted in the modern. And I think today, if I'm guessing, the spirits may look like some cyborgs or aliens or whatever we're going to come into contact with in the future. The whole experience takes you out of yourself to a point where you go to the edge of creation. This last ceremony in particular, there was so much going on that it was even hard for me to come back into reality and try and process it. But what I learned was believe in yourself. Anxiety and negative thoughts and all the things that you beat yourself up about, or I beat myself up about, it's not important at all.
This third and final
ceremony wasn't as intense as the last, but it revealed to me the message that ayahuasca had for me. I continued to see spirits in that room who showed me different aspects of myself and the world, and I saw a range of visuals that made me realize that I need to be more kinder to myself and to others. I learned that I had been too harsh and critical of myself, and I hadn't appreciated my own worth and potential. I also learned that I had been too judgmental and dismissive of others, and that I had to learn to love myself and to love others as they are and as they can be. It'd be interesting to see how I can integrate some of these learnings into my day-to-day life, and I think integration is so important. The ceremony is just the tip of the iceberg. Overall, I don't think that going this deep into the jungle made the ayahuasca experience more profound or intense. I think that ayahuasca would have worked the same way anywhere, as long as I was open and willing to receive its wisdom and healing. However, I did gain some great insights and appreciation from being in nature. I saw the beauty and the power of the natural world, and I felt a connection with it. I saw the harmony and the balance of the ecosystem, and I felt a part of it. I saw the challenges and the dangers of the environment, and I felt a respect for it. Being in the jungle also made me appreciate the comforts and the opportunities of civilization. After spending several days inside the cabin surrounded by water, I was eager to get back to Iquitos and explore the beautiful city and the rest of South America. My ayahuasca experience in Peru was one hell of an adventure. It pushed me out of my comfort zone, and it taught me lessons that I will always cherish. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this.
Ya pedang maksudnya. Ya, keleng basah. Marah.